Welcome to Independent Thought and Freedom. What is happening in Jammu and Kashmir? Is this increasing the risk of war in the world? Is this the rise of aggressive Hindu nationalism, what everybody was warning about? This is an incredible development in world history, I would say. So there are two curious things about it. One is that it is not receiving as much attention in the Western press as it should. And two, when it is receiving attention, it is from a very skewed understanding of what is happening and very hostile to what the Indian government is doing and casting it within the framework of aggressive Hindu nationalism. I think it's important for us to address these issues, and we have here our friend who's been on with us on this program a few times before, Professor Kapil Kumar. Welcome.
Well, it's a pleasure again to be with you. And let me start with this thing of Hindu nationalism.
Yes.
I have a counter question. When the Americans move into Afghanistan, will you call it Christian nationalism?
Mm-hmm.
When the war is waged in Syria, the American troops are there, British troops are there, French troops are there. Do they call it Christian, aggressive Christian nationalism? So this kind of labeling which is done in the Western press, I'm sorry that they don't know ABC of it.
That's right.
When it comes to them, when they face terror attacks, tell me one thing, the Prime Minister of Pakistan going in America to meet Trump, and they're making a statement that we have 30 to 40,000 terrorists in Kashmir, in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
It is his confession. It is not my confession. And where are they using those terrorists? They are using it in India.
Yep.
And if India responds to that, you call it Hindu aggressive nationalism. Let me tell you something of 1947. Well, very recently, some 6 volumes have come, edited by Lionel Carter, and he's a British, he's not an Indian. And in these documents are published top secret reports from military intelligence and the letters exchanged between England, Karachi, and New Delhi at that time in 1947-48. And you know what's the plea given by Pakistan in that for the attack on Kashmir in 1947? That they were the tribals from Northwest province, the Kabilis whom they call, they have attacked India. And why they attacked India, these documents reveal? Because there emerged a dispute between Pakistan and Afghanistan over the boundaries.
Right.
And the Northwest frontier provinces never wanted to go with Pakistan. Even Badshah Ghaffar Khan had said that if an East Pakistan can be created, why not a Western India?
Right.
They never made it. And because of that, that government was dissolved by the Pakistan government. And there was a fear in the Pakistan government, gave Afghanistan and these tribes of Northwest provinces, etc., join hands together. And if they are supported by India, Pakistan will be nowhere in existence.
Could I ask about in the Northwest provinces, what is their religion? Is it Muslim or is it Hindu?
It is Muslim. And these are those areas, Baloch, who are even fighting today for independence in those areas.
That is fascinating. So that means that Muslim area, which I thought it was, but I never heard of this before. You're saying that they were saying you could have West India, just like you used to have East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh.
This is Khan.
And they are Muslim majority.
He and his son Wali Khan, they were arrested and they spent their lives in the jails of Pakistan.
Yes.
These Balochs are Muslims who are fighting against Muslims. Okay.
And what is important and what you're raising is that the world and the Western media in particular, who don't understand the situation and who are also purposely confusing the situation, they are making this more religious than it is.
That's what I'm telling you, explaining to you.
Exactly.
And you know what happened.
And that means we have these Muslims from the Northwest province who preferred to be with India. And just like the majority of Muslims during partition stayed in India and did not move.
Decided to stay in India more than the population of Pakistan. Let me tell you, explain to this. When this happened in the Northwest Frontier Province regions, now what should Pakistan do? They had to divert this, there should be no war on the front with Afghanistan and these tribes in the Northwest provinces. So they created a bogey in Kashmir that the ruler in Kashmir is a Hindu ruler, Hari Singh.
Yes.
And Islam is in danger there.
Yeah.
And there are atrocities being committed on Muslims there, brutalities. And they instigated these things on religious lines, which you see a contemporary thing of you find that when the Afghans were there in Afghanistan, when the Russians were there, the Taliban was created on similar lines in Pakistan.
Exactly.
And they gave the route to these persons from Northwest provinces about 1,000 miles or more than that to come, move through the Pakistan territory and attack Kashmir. And then they send the Pakistani troops. And then they say before the UN Commission that had we not sent our troops from Pakistan, we would have stopped to exist. India would have won us over. And then they say, we can't stop these tribals coming from those regions and all that. This another thing on religious bogey I want to tell you. East Pakistan was created on religious basis.
Right.
Okay. They were Muslims.
Yes.
And West Pakistan was Muslim.
Yes.
Then why did West Pakistani Muslims butchered 3 lakh Muslims in East Pakistan during 1970?
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
So this whole bogey, the Western press doesn't know these facts, you know. Or if they know these facts, they ignore these facts intentionally coming into the period of history. And now let me tell you something in Kashmir. We have in Kashmir people like Aurangzeb. From the Indian army, when he went on leave home in Kashmir, he was butchered, he was shot. And his father gave his 2 sons to join the Indian army. They joined Indian army.
What year is that you're talking about?
Just now, 2 months back, I'm talking of.
Okay. Okay.
This month only, they joined the Indian army's 2 brothers.
Right.
And they're saying there that we'll take the revenge of our brother who was killed by these terrorists. These terrorists, how many Muslims they have killed in Kashmir?
Yes.
You know that? Why the Western press is blind to that? Baloch in Pakistan, aren't they Muslims? Why Pakistan is killing them? Why not giving them liberties over there? So this whole bogey which they raise of Islamic and all, and the best, comment has come from the Saudi prince on that.
Yes.
He has said that I know history, and I know politics, and I know religion. And he has said, historically, Kashmir was India.
Yes.
Islam went much later to Kashmir. How is this bogey being raised about that kind of a situation? And whole thing of that, you see, I'm so shocked. There's so many Muslims serving in the Indian army, in Indian police. Every day, the information which is coming out about terrorists in Kashmir, that who's hiding where, is given by the Muslims of Kashmir. We have Kalam in India, our missile man, who became the president. We had Abdul Hamid in India, who in the 65 war blasted 8 tanks of Pakistan. So let them not raise this and try to divide the Indians again on the basis of community, which they have been trying globally, because that is a global perceived notion. And let me ask you one thing, the Western press. When they talk of Article 370 and the privileges, what privileges were given in the Pak-occupied Kashmir? What they call Azad Kashmir?
Yes.
What kind of rights the Kashmiris have there? Entire ethnic cleaning has taken place there.
Yeah.
In our India, people were not allowed from this side to go and buy property or settle in Kashmir state, Jammu and Kashmir state.
Right.
And what has happened there? The entire Pak-occupied Kashmir has been taken up by the Muslims going for Punjab and Sindh over there. Do the Kashmiri Muslims have right over there? Compare the development of the 2 places over there. And the irony is that all these separatists in Kashmir backed by the ISIS of Pakistan, they have never uttered a word about that what is the fate of Kashmiris in Pak-occupied Kashmir.
That's right.
Are they not Kashmiris?
So
let me give another point.
Yep.
You see, let me give another point, because this is very crucial matters.
Yes. I want to take it down right from the basics.
That's why I'm coming out with the facts, you see.
Yeah,
and let them, anyone deny these facts.
The international press don't know the basics, and they are
They don't want to know because there is a reason behind it.
Yeah.
There's a reason behind it. The British supported Pakistan against India in Kashmir at that time.
Yes.
Records after records are saying that. They wanted to settle the issue that since India has taken Hyderabad now, so India should be lenient on Kashmir and Kashmir should be given to Pakistan. They were coming out with the UN Commission a proposal that the Jammu Dogra Hindu areas be given to India, the Kashmir Valley be given to Pakistan, and the Leh area plebiscite should be held over there. They never wanted a united India. They not only divided India, but they left by saying Paramount C has left. They created this problem.
Yes.
By making states independent over there. And the kind of constraint which India remained at that time. You see, India was winning the war in 48. And Indian army advised the Indian Prime Minister Nehru at that time that let us throw them out from Kashmir. Then only go for a ceasefire. But Nehru, under the pressure of British, again, Mountbatten and all these people, agreed to that. And it was then this Pak-occupied Kashmir was created during that period over there.
Right.
So this whole bogey of putting it as Islamic, and let me tell you one thing. Where was this international press when in 1990, lakhs of Hindu Kashmiri Pandits were raped, murdered, killed, and thrown out of Pakistan, Kashmir? Were they not Kashmiris? Where was the Kashmiriyat then? The Kashmiriyat which they talk of. And blindly telling us these things.
Yes.
And a Prime Minister who acknowledges in America we have 40,000 terrorist raids. It's a rogue state. Has America forgotten? Has the Western press forgotten that where Bin Laden was sheltered? For how many years?
Exactly.
Who sheltered Bin Laden? Who is supporting Taliban now in Afghanistan?
They are always selective about their outrage. They're always selective about who they think is a dictator, about who they think is oppressed. And
let me tell you, today's India is not the India of 1947.
That's right.
And this is not even 65 or 71. Today, India stands on its own feet. India knows what its national interests are. And we are doing it for that. Let me give you one more example. When they're talking of stakeholders, this is another thing Western press is shouting at. Stakeholders have not been consulted.
Right.
May I ask a question? When this Article 370 was imposed, were the women of Kashmir consulted? Were the women not stakeholders? When they are denied the right that they marry outside the state, they won't inherit property.
That's right.
An outsider woman who marries a Kashmiri can inherit property. But a daughter of Kashmir cannot inherit property. And these feminists can't raise this point. That has been done away with.
But that's an important point because it raises the fundamental Western disrespect and disdain for the national boundaries of non-Western countries. So somehow they are a stakeholder in Indian territory. Can Mexico say that they're a stakeholder in California? Can Mexico say they're a stakeholder?
No. Let me ask you another thing. Will they give 370 kind of rights in California to people? Exactly. Tomorrow the minorities are there.
Exactly.
They will demand give us Sharia laws.
That's right.
Is America going to give Sharia laws to them? Is England going to give them Sharia laws over there? What is this nonsense being talked about?
Yes. How do other people become stakeholders in another country's territory? So, now for those people who want to know the truth, but the Western media is not giving it to them, I think what I want us to do is to walk through step by step because so many people just don't know the basics.
Okay, but one or two points, let me make it. Aren't the disabled people in the Kashmir stakeholders? The Indian government passes a law for the welfare of disabled, which is not implemented in Kashmir by these politicians. The Indian government passes a law, a health insurance law for the poor, that up to 5 lakh rupees, you can do that. That law is not implemented there.
Right.
The Indian government passes a law to give gas connections to the poor women who burn their fingers while cooking. That is not implemented in Kashmir. So we are talking under 370 of the welfare of Kashmir.
Exactly.
And what they did, these leaders, These three families looted Kashmir. Look at their properties, what their grandparents were. And today they have money to buy villas in London,
Yeah.
in Kashmir. They
Yeah.
gave a call of a band, close the educational institutions. And when the granddaughters of this Gulam Gilani has to give an exam, that day the band is taken over and she's made to give the exam.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All Kashmiris who are now studying outside India because of the problems there, their entire education expenditure is being borne by the Indian state.
Mm-hmm.
My tax money goes for that. And they say we are doing that. Tourism, they restricted it only to Anantnag, Pahalgam, Gulmarg and Srinagar. There are so many beautiful areas in Kashmir where rural tourism could have been developed, but they never wanted to give the benefits to the local poor over there in Kashmir. Talk to the people in upper reaches, the Gujar Muslims over there, what they have to say. This valley will only three families in this valley will dominate the entire regions. The stepmotherly treatment they gave to Leh, people in Leh are dancing on this. Why isn't the Western press reporting that?
Exactly.
People in Jammu are dancing over it. And Leh is not Hindu myself. Kirk Leh is all Buddhist.
Right, Buddhists.
They are all Buddhists. They are dancing over it.
Yes.
The people in Jammu are dancing over it.
Well, remember when the Taliban blew up the Bamiyan statues? I mean, that terrible historical vandalism.
I can give hundreds of examples of this, you see.
Exactly.
They've been doing.
And that was the Buddhist case. So let's start. So Article 370 was the provision in the Constitution that gave autonomy to Kashmir. So let's talk about what that meant precisely. So what was Article 370 doing with Kashmir? It made it. It's almost like its own country, right? Had its own flag.
This article was not there originally in the Indian Constitution.
Okay.
And when Nehru pressed for this article in league with Sheikh Abdullah, and Sheikh Abdullah was playing a triple game at that time.
Okay.
He was in touch with.
Let me pause. So in 47, this Jammu and Kashmir, was it part of India or not?
You see, it is like that. There were definite so many 300 something Indian states.
Right.
Okay. And these states were under the paramountcy of the British Crown.
Right.
Okay. And the British said paramountcy has left.
Right.
Okay. Now it was left to the states that whether they join Indian Union, whether they join Pakistan, or whether they want to remain independent.
So on August 15th, 1947, what was the status of Jammu and Kashmir?
The status of this is that in Jammu is ruled by Hari Singh.
Okay. So
like
it was
any
still
other
a princely state.
Princely state.
Still.
It's Hari Singh.
Yes.
But don't ask me the history of Kashmir earlier from the ancient times.
Exactly. Yeah. So just taking from August 15th.
Okay, so I'm coming from 47.
47.
Before that, there was a state people's movement in Jammu and Kashmir. Before 47.
Okay.
Which was led by Sheikh Abdullah, supported by Congress. Congress had a full wing of state people's movement.
And what did the state people's movement want?
This was for democracy in the state.
So democracy. So it wasn't for independence. It wasn't to join one.
Democracy in the state and linking it with the freedom struggle.
Okay, with the Indian freedom struggle and not to join Pakistan.
Not to join Pakistan. At that time, you see, Pakistan demand comes only in 1940.
Right.
And this movement starts from 1930s, state people's movement.
Okay. The 30s.
Okay. Now what happens is that Nehru had a personal grudge with the Kashmir ruler. Because the Kashmir ruler didn't want the state people's movement to grow, the demand for democracy over there. And he had arrested Sheikh Abdullah and all at that time. He had not allowed Nehru to come to Kashmir and address these movements and all. So Nehru didn't like him. And in 47, in India, all states to be dealt with, such states were left in the charge of Sardar Patel.
Right.
Except for Kashmir, which Nehru kept under himself. That I will deal.
So Sardar Patel was to get the other princely states into India, but Jammu and Kashmir, Nehru said no, he will deal with them.
No, there was some thinking in Jammu and Kashmir to have a Switzerland kind of a state, you know. There was one thinking
kind
of that.
small independent state.
Yeah, small independent state. That was what Junagadh thought, joining Pakistan. Hyderabad thought of joining Pakistan. Travancore thought of that. But in Junagadh and Hyderabad, military action was done. They were taken over. And then Travancore joined. And Jinnah had sent, you know, a plain paper with his signatures to these states. That's there in the archive still.
Right.
Can you write your conditions and join Pakistan?
Right.
But none of the states did that.
Okay.
Now what happened what happened in Kashmir? Since Kashmir was not acceding to Pakistan,
right,
not acceding at that time to the signing the accession to India,
right,
these Kabilis and tribesmen, where I explained,
yes,
was sent by Pakistan to raid Kashmir.
Right.
And they attacked Kashmir.
So the princely state was attacked by Pakistan, by people from Pakistan, not officially.
Not only backed by people in the army of Pakistan, but the British Air Force, what is called Royal Indian Air Force at that time, they are planes stationed in Pakistan.
Okay.
The British in Pakistan, the British option in
British
Pakistan.
army had to be divided between Pakistan and India.
So all the British who were there, they were supporting this, over there. Now what happened? That when they reached, the Raja tried from his forces to stop them and all, he couldn't do that. And that's the time Patel goes to Kashmir.
Right.
And there the accession is signed by the Raja to India. Which has happened with all states.
And what year was that?
48 only.
48. So within a year. So that means at independence.
I'm not remembering the exact date.
But somewhere around there. So
that time. Patel comes to back Delhi.
Yes.
Tells Nehru, here is now the accession document.
Right.
And Nehru talks of going to UN and all that. So Patel says, Nehru, do you want to lose Kashmir? And Nehru keeps silent. And General Manak Shah, the 71 Field Marshal, hero of ours, he was with Patel at that time as his adjutant.
Right.
He has written his biography, and Patel tells General Manak Shah, Nehru remains quiet. Patel says, here's your order, send the army.
Right.
And that's how the Indian army moves into Kashmir.
So let me ask a question, because people might be thinking that the ruler maybe wanted, so Hari Singh wanted Jammu and Kashmir to go to India, but the people wanted to either remain independent or join Pakistan. Is that true or false?
Well, we have no evidence to that the people wanted that.
Right.
And if that was the question, then why did the people welcome the Indian army? Why did they cooperate with the Indian army? In fact, this is some of their politicians saying now.
Yes.
Okay, we decided to join India, but we never thought that 375 will be taken away. This is what they're saying. So
that's what they're saying.
The people wanted Pakistan and all, it was India. That's how they started throwing out the Pakistani armies and all. That's where I said that the army advised that don't go for a ceasefire. And
yes,
throw them out.
This is a very important point. So, because what the argument now that people are saying who are against this move, they're saying that Kashmir only acceded to India under these special conditions which are in Article 37. That they have to be.
At that time in the accession, no condition was put up.
Okay.
No, none.
Right.
This only came up much later when Article 350, 370 is drafted out. So, and imagine a person like Baba Sahib Ambedkar.
Yes.
Refused to incorporate 370 in the Indian Constitution.
Right.
And there cannot be two constitutions in a country. There cannot be two constitutions in a country.
Right, right.
There can't be two prime ministers in a country.
Right.
That's what he did.
Right.
And the repercussions of that 370.
So
they did another thing. They did another thing, you see.
Yes.
370 Nehru got it approved in the parliament.
So if Jammu and Kashmir were already acceded, just like the other princely states, correct? So why
was this needed?
Sorry?
Why was this needed, 370?
Yeah, so why was a
It
special?
was not needed. You see what Nehru had done at that time, and that's why Nehru messed up this whole thing.
Yes.
Nehru took this issue to UN
And why?
as a dispute.
Like, why
Now
not
my
the other
question,
princely states? Was Hyderabad? Did Hyderabad come in late for?
you see, it's very interesting thing. It's very interesting thing that many of the actions of this period
Yes.
to get international fame, to show that you are very impartial, all these kind of things. My basic question as a historian here is that what was declared was that it is not Pakistan which has attacked Kashmir and India.
Right.
It is the tribes who have come and attacked.
Right.
And these tribes were not a nation.
Yes.
Okay. So why the case goes to UN by Nehru?
Exactly. Yes.
So this is where the personal things and all these things and issues come into that regard. Then when the UN Commission meets and all that, I have on record in these papers which I am quoting now, Patel said that when the moment these Kabylis attacked, let us bomb their installations.
Right.
It was overruled in the parliament.
And these Kamalis are what? They're Pashtun people or something, or what?
The tribal peoples of northwest frontier provinces, which I told you, they're known as Kabila. Kabila is the word for a tribe, you know.
Okay, all right.
And still they are in fight, you know, with either with Pakistan or Afghanistan, and each tribe has its own thing. Jirga is what their conference is called. And all that.
Now, but those same tribes wanted to be West India as well. Is that correct, or no?
That's what I told you, that the tribes from the northwest provinces region.
Yeah.
Their Badshah Ghaffar Khan, who had his own thing of red shirts, they were called, who supported the Indian national movement, vehemently protested against the partition, told Gandhi that this is not done, and Gandhi then tells him, you know, Pakistan is a reality and you should go and support Jinnah now.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Now, Colonel Usman, the Indian colonel, Brigadier Usman, sorry, who died defending Kashmir at that time, a Muslim. This whole theory which goes on Hambat that Muslims were there.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's the hero of that area, you know, Poonch and all these regions.
Right.
He died. And there are many other Muslims from the Indian army and from the Indian populace in Kashmir who died in this.
Mm-hmm.
Now this 370 is interesting. And within that they bring out a 35A, which Nehru never takes to the parliament. It should have been amended in the parliament and taken in the parliament.
And 35A is the provision that says
into property and all these provisions and all that.
So people from the rest of India can't get certain jobs. It's almost they can't own property. It's really almost makes Kashmir like a different country. Jammu Kashmir.
Yeah. Now will these Western people?
Yes.
Will it be that the people from Britain cannot go to Scotland and buy over there?
Exactly.
And do jobs over there or business over there?
Exactly.
Or will America tolerate? Can Texas have a different policy and from one state you can't go to another state?
In America, they want open borders. They want Mexicans to come in freely. That's what the Democrats are arguing. Yeah, this is within a country.
And here in India, they are opposing.
That's right.
This kind of. So this is the hypocrisy. This is the Western hypocrisy I'm talking of.
Total.
And it's to expose this hypocrisy before the younger generation in the West.
Exactly.
What is being preached and what is being done in this regard. I'll tell you another implication of 35A, which is very important.
Yes.
What happened, Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
That in 1957, there was a strike by the sweeping people in Kashmir. Then they won't do sweeping, they won't do scavenging, and all these works over there. And Sadiq Muhammad, I think, was the chief minister of Kashmir at that time. He sought Nehru's help for that. And Nehru sent 200 families from Gurdaspur, what we call the Valmiki families,
right,
to do this sweeping job in Kashmir. And they were promised, okay, we will give you statehood of Kashmir. You do the jobs here and all that, and you can settle down in Kashmir. So they went there. They were given a document written in Urdu language.
Yes.
You know what that document says? It says that your future generations will do only this job of sweeping and scavenging.
And
They
wow.
can't get any job in Kashmir. They
Yeah.
can't do any service in Kashmir. Is this human rights?
Exactly. So what
They're
they're
shouting
doing? Yeah.
for the downtrodden.
But it's exactly like the creation of Pakistan itself, because Pakistan is a Muslim nation, and since when? Since when is the West creating ethnic states? They're supposedly they're against it, these liberals, but what they're doing is they're supporting this sort of feudal mini state within India, and they are actually saying that this was Kashmiri freedom, right? So that they're saying that Article 7 gave them freedom and autonomy to legislate for themselves, and that now the center, the BJP government in the center, is taking it away.
One very important thing on 370.
Yes.
It was only a temporary provision in the constitution.
How long was it supposed to last?
It could have been changed any time.
Right.
Any temporary provision in a constitution.
Yes.
And the power of that has been given to the Constituent Assembly, has been dissolved.
But now,
so the power is now in Parliament.
Exactly.
It makes the laws.
Because apparently there was a court ruling saying that because that old assembly was dissolved in 51 or something, now Article 370 is permanently enshrined and it can't be removed. That's what some people are arguing.
No. You see, they are fools.
Yes.
If a constitution is made in America and that constitution committee is dissolved, so the right of amending that constitution is taken away. What a foolish talking.
That is absolute foolish sophistry.
See, the powers come to the bodies which that Constituent Assembly has created and which have been accepted by the Indian Parliament. There's some people talking now in India also. It's a fraud. This office order is a fraud. And now comes another question.
Yeah.
See, 370 has been in operation for so long. What were the repercussions of this? That was studied. They were looked into. Look at the economic development of Kashmir.
Yes, exactly.
Because no investment coming from outside.
That's right.
Established industry.
So what did
these people there who ruled as politicians, they had their cliques. They made plenty of wealth.
Yeah.
Everything they can find.
So
corruption. Have you ever heard a Kashmiri politician speaking against corruption in Kashmir?
Exactly.
I know of two projects in Kashmir. A grant of 2 crore rupees was given by the tourism ministry to start a hospitality department in one university, somewhere area. And after a year, the person went to inspect what has happened to that money. Where is the department? And he's told by the Vice Chancellor that 2 crores were spent on leveling the hill. And if you want to establish the department, you send more money.
Yeah.
I did a project in 2013 for the Mughal Road, when the new Mughal Road was opened. Okay. So for tourism, it was a project that we give the tourist an experience of how the Mughals used to travel to Srinagar.
Okay.
So we selected a 10-kilometer stretch where we thought we will reenact that travel, you can wear Mughal dresses, carriages and all, and you can go into that. And 7 crores were sanctioned by the central government for that project.
Right.
I made the entire plan of that project in 2013. I was called.
Mm-hmm.
Done. 2014 come the floods. And when I asked them, what is happening to that scheme? They say the plan has been washed out the computers have been washed out in the floods. I said, okay. I have copies of that plan with me, lying with me. It was typed in my computers also.
Yes.
And the money is not washed. The money is in the bank.
Yes.
What are you doing to that? 9 years have passed. 5 years have passed by now. 14 to 19. So this kind of corruption there, which was going on, you are not prepared to give any rights to your women.
Yeah.
Any aspects related to that for their welfare. RTI, right to information.
Well,
it's applicable.
Let me ask you something. What about things like poverty rates, literacy rates in Jammu and Kashmir? Are they significantly lower than the rest of India,
You see,
or?
I'll tell you, they were significant in the upper hill areas because these people only cared for the valley, or some doldrums to Jammu.
Yeah.
But they never created for the Gujar community upstairs in Kargil and these places and other beyond Kishtwar and all these areas on the top areas, Punch areas and these areas and all. And the Indian government wanted that when the literacy campaigns have been issued and all that, and Indian government is funding that, giving you the money for that, to start these campaigns over there.
Right.
No, we are 370, we will do whatever we want.
Yes.
You know the foolishness of this state. Have you ever heard this in the world? That the Pak-occupied Kashmir, in the Jammu and Kashmir State Assembly, about 70 assembly membership seats have been kept vacant. Will you believe that?
You mean no elections happened in those seven?
No, they are just vacant. When Pak-occupied Kashmir is taken over, then these seats will be there in this assembly. So the assembly functions on the basis of 71 or 72 seats over there.
Wait. So those 70 seats are from the Pakistan.
The areas which have gone to Pakistan.
So they leave the 70 seats open, saying that in future, when Kashmir is reunited, that will be
when the unification takes place or something comes over. They'll do into that. And within that, there is a very interesting thing. The Indian constitution reorganizes the constituencies as per the population growth.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if the population has Jammu is grown up,
yes,
or if the population has grown in Leh, so you don't have the right to delimit the size of the constituencies or bring in new constituencies or add a more to the assembly. So what is this? So a township with 2 lakh votes has 1 seat.
Yeah.
And a township with 12 lakhs of votes also has 1 seat. Is this democratic representation?
Right. So
of the people?
So that area, that little state created by Article 370 really had a lot of problems of corruption, of backwardness, of underdevelopment.
Investment.
Sorry?
Investment.
Lack of investment. And and also lack of rights and rights and programs and privileges that were guaranteed to minorities in the rest of India were not available in Jammu and Kashmir. Women's rights, education, these sorts of things were denied to the people in Kashmir because
let me ask you, Kirk, here one thing.
Yes.
This Western press and those who are talking this, have they ever written anything on what rights the people of the Pak-occupied Kashmir have?
That's right. Because
what facilities they have?
Yeah.
What is their education level? What is their economic condition?
Yeah. Because I've seen an argument made saying by people who are against the removal of Article 370, saying that many Kashmiris believe that the BJP ultimately wants to change the demographic character of the Muslim majority region by allowing non-Kashmiris to buy land there. So what they're saying is that by removing Article 370, you're going to dilute the Muslim majority because it's the only Muslim majority state. That's what you always hear that in the international.
Let me answer you
Kashmir is the only Muslim majority.
Let me answer you this.
Yes.
Number one, there is no such plan. Hidden or overt. Number two, I want to ask a question. Who is making Kashmir as a Muslim majority state? What were these fanatics doing when in 1990 they threw out lakhs of Hindu Pandits from Kashmir?
Yeah.
To hide that, the atrocities committed. People thrown out of their houses overnight. Announcements will be there. You leave by tomorrow or your daughters will be raped.
Now,
This is in record.
what was the position of the Kashmiri government on that?
Kashmiri government, they supported it directly.
Mm-hmm.
No support was given. No safety was given to these people.
Right.
They were thrown out.
And who was it?
Ethnic cleansing? Let me tell you, who did the religious cleaning of the people in Kashmir?
Yeah.
Indian government did it. They threw out the pundits. Why is the Western press blind to this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why are the Western countries blind to this? Their correspondents did the stories at that time. The Kashmiri pundits are still there, over there, whatever. And let me say another thing, another bogey they are making now.
Yes.
Kashmiriyat will be in danger.
Yes.
The culture Kashmiriyat will be in danger.
Yes.
I said Kashmiriyat was killed by you when you threw out these pundits from Kashmir.
Right.
Were they not Kashmiris? Number two, I would love to hear the music of Santoor in Kashmir. The music instrument of Kashmir. Hear something very beautiful, melodious music,
Yeah.
You don't hear that in Kashmir. You don't see the dances in Kashmir, Rauf.
So so what you're saying is that these are traditional Kashmiri culture.
Yes.
That
which were followed by both Hindus and Muslims there.
Right. And then radical Muslims.
Let me tell you.
And then radical Muslims have tried to
Kashmir.
purge that.
I will still agree. I'll still agree Kashmir was the raising of Pakistan flags in Srinagar Kashmiriyat.
Right.
Is the raising of the ISIS black flags in Kashmiriyat.
Mm-hmm.
Is Gilani's statements that we'll make it an Islamic state Kashmiriyat.
Right.
They are talking of it making it an Islamic state. India has not said that we are going to make it a Hindu state. Or we are. On the contrary, yesterday, our national security advisor Ajit Deval goes to Kashmir, talks to the people, follow your religion, do that aspect. They killed Sufism in Kashmir.
Yes.
The Sufis there were called Sufi rishis.
This is so insane because the same Western press that are expressing sympathy for creating a Muslim majority state in India will call Belgians racist we'll call British people racist for wanting to keep Britain British. They'll call white Americans racist for saying they want to keep traditional white Protestant American culture. They'll say that Germans are racist for wanting to keep Germany German. They'll say French people are racist. People from Marine Le Pen are racist if they want to keep France French. But they say, oh, poor Kashmiris, they can't keep Kashmir Muslim. I mean, the hypocrisy is just glaring, the double standards.
Let me take you back in history.
Mm-hmm.
When the Aborigines were shot like ducks in Australia.
Yes.
When the Red Indians were wiped out in America. When your native people, you tell me how many in Trinidad are the original inhabitants of Trinidad?
That's right.
Or say of any of the Caribbean countries?
Yeah.
When they were shot, that was fine. It was the great Western civilization trying to civilize the world.
Yes.
And this is racism.
And the other thing too.
I'm raising a very important point today.
Yeah.
Because that is also gets correlated to this issue of Kashmir. The Western press has been doing a lot on lynching.
Yes.
Lynching in India. Religious lynching.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask them a question. Firstly, I condemn any lynching, and who does that should be behind the bars, should be hanged. I'll go for that. After making this statement, now I have a question to ask. There are 4 religions in India which were born on Indian soil.
Mm-hmm.
Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism.
Right.
You tell me, in the social codes of these religions, or if there are any legal codes in this religion, does anyone talk of lynchings?
That's right.
As a legal code or as a social code?
Exactly.
Any of these 4 religions. And on the contrary, I can cite you a religion in the world where lynching is is declared as a punishment given to the offender.
Yes, stoning.
If a woman commits adultery, stone her,
Yes,
stone her to death.
stoning, beheading.
Or should stone her to death.
Yes, cutting
Cut
off
the
hands.
hands for the thieves.
Yeah.
For the thieves. Don't give any rights to women. Do halala. Do triple talaq.
Yes.
Okay? That is Shariat. And let the Western world wait and see. This Western press and all, let them wait and see.
Exactly.
Already in Belgium or somewhere, they demanded, okay, we want Shariat over there.
Yeah.
And let them wait and see.
I mean, so
what goes on. I'm not against religion. I'm not against any individual human.
Exactly.
Okay?
But what it is that the Western press is hypocritical, right? I mean, and because they are decrying it in their own countries, but then in India they're saying the exact opposite. So
because they treat India still as a guinea pig.
Exactly.
They still think we are a colony of 47.
That's right. Exactly.
They are envious that why we are reaching the Mars
Exactly.
today. Why we are reaching the moon today.
And they think they can tell India what to do with its own territory. I mean, they have the gall to, you know, the temerity to say that. It would be like if India would be telling Britain during Scottish independence, you know, India giving their opinion on what the government should do for Scottish independence. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
No, the situation. You see, I'll give you a very interesting example. When I was in Trinidad only,
yes,
there was an American professor, an expert who was introduced as a financial wizard and all, and he talked on American and European economies and how much resources we have, how much gold we have, how our economy is dead, industrial revolution, this, that, all blah blah blah. He talked.
Yes.
I asked him a question. When you have all these experts and brains and resources and gold reserves and all that, please answer this question of mine. Then how come your European economies and American economy is nosediving down? And how come my Indian economy is going up or is stabilized?
That's right.
And he didn't have the answer to that. And I said, you won't have the answer because your parameters of gauging an economy are very different than my parameters.
Yes.
He said, you tell me what it is. I said, my banks don't fail in India.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're still not a credit card society.
Right.
Difference between debit and credit card.
Yes. No, absolutely. Debt is extremely...
Your banks fail because of that.
That's
in America. Your banks fail of that. I said, my informal sector is very strong in India. If the formal sector breaks down, the informal sector takes over. I said, we believe in savings. We save. And if inflation coming or prices going down or estate prices fell down, Indians believe this is the time to bring out their reserves to buy. This is the buying time.
Yeah. Now this is extremely important because it relates to other questions I've had, other discussions I've had in my podcast about usury in the economy, and so that's a very important point that in India.
And let me tell you, Indian parents, they may beg, borrow, or steal, but they give the best education to their children.
Yes.
And I told them, you have the power to purchase Indian brains, but you are not having the brains.
Yeah.
If you had the brains, then 40% scientists in NASA will not be Indian.
Yeah.
Another so many percent Chinese.
Yeah.
The doctors in America, the teachers are America.
Mm-hmm.
Will you believe English recruiting teachers in England? English teachers from India because they are losing their Victorian English.
That's right. That's right.
Is taking over. And they want now Indians to come and teach them English. What are they talking? India is an awakened nation now, you see. They still want to put that image of India as a land of snake charmers and all that. And
That's
right.
Then
imagine India launching the satellites of 15 countries.
Yeah.
20 satellites at a time. This is the India of today.
Now, to get back to the Jammu Kashmir issue, I want to say that, you see, you made a very important point that India does not want to Hinduize Jammu Kashmir, and they never have. And India is not a Hindu state, and the BJP do not want to make India a Hindu state. But this is what they keep pushing this bogey that BJP wants to make. So could you explain the difference between Hindutva and the role that has, and then this idea of India being a Hindu state and the BJP being Hindu national. That just explains.
This is all
I think
very
a lot of
interesting.
people are very confused by it.
It's all very interesting, I'll tell you. You see, the partition of India in 47
Yes.
was done on the basis of Hindu and Muslim.
Yes. By the British.
Okay. By the British.
Not
and
by
accepted
the
by Indian
Hindus.
leadership.
Yeah.
And
not
accepted by Congress leadership.
Yes.
Okay. Hindu leadership. Okay. And many nationalist Muslims also didn't accept it. Maulana Azad has made a statement.
That's right.
That our leaders had taken a decision in favor of partition, but the entire country wept over it.
Yes.
This is Maulana Azad. Okay. The number of Muslims who decided to stay in India. He was a Congress nationalist leader, president of the Congress.
Right.
When the number of Muslims who decided to stay in India after partition was much higher than the total population of Pakistan.
Yeah.
That time. And in Pakistan, already this thing had started. A Pakistani professor has only said that. When Jinnah suddenly said that Pakistan will be a secular state, it came out because a group of Pakistanis went to Jinnah and told him, what are you doing? If these crores of Muslims, 3 crore Muslims from India come to Pakistan, where will you keep them? And Jinnah said, you stay where you are. Okay. Hindus accepted that.
Mm-hmm.
We took them in our society.
Yeah.
The days of Hindu pani and Muslim water and Hindu water gone away, done away with that.
Yeah.
And now you come to that. What they do in 90s, terrorism starts and Hindus are targeted and Hindus are thrown out of Kashmir. If Hindutva was militant, Hindutva now I'm not just using the word Hindu.
Yes.
There was no dearth of that people and Hindus in India following Hindutva who would have gone and volunteered to and gone to Kashmir and fought these fanatics over there. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. In spite of all attacks by terrorists in India, which are done by raising religious slogans of Islam,
yeah,
we still not take it. We were preaching, no, religion, terrorism has no religion.
Yes.
At all. And we were talking, some saying they are misguided, some said innocent, some said something like that, whatever it is. The crux of the matter here is very different, which the Western press fails to understand in relation to. To understand this, they have to understand the polity of Pakistan.
Yes.
India became a democracy.
That's right.
Pakistan became an Islamic state.
Mm-hmm. A military Islamic state.
India could have declared an Hindu state.
Yes.
Okay. Then Pakistan loses democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Prime Minister murdered. And you have seen the fate of prime ministers in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Bhutto hanged. Sharif Nawaz is in jail now.
Yeah.
Benazir Bhutto want to fight for democracy. I respect her very much.
I remember when I saw the swearing in of Parvez Musharraf on television, and I didn't know what I was watching first. I thought it was some religious ceremony, and then they kept referring to India in this hostile way, and I couldn't believe this is a swearing in ceremony of Pakistan.
That is what I'm coming to. Why this India bogey? See, what has happened there is that army has not only tasted political power, but they have tasted economic power.
Yes.
You know, how many businesses in Pakistan, businesses are run by the army.
Right.
The army control. So, to maintain their hold, they have to have a bogey.
Yes. It's like Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
In danger, and that bogey is Pakistan, and that bogey is India.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing.
It's like Saudi Arabia, where you have this ruling elite who are not religious really, but they got the Wahhabis to be ultra religious, and so they make the mass of the population in this radical Wahhabi Islam while they rule everything and amass all the riches.
I'll give you three examples.
Yeah.
I'll give you three examples. First one I gave you of 1948.
Yes.
We could have won the Pak-occupied Kashmir back.
Right.
But we agreed for a ceasefire. Left it. 65. We went up to Lahore. We were on the outskirts of Lahore. After the Tashkent agreement, we gave it back to them. If we had ambitions, we wouldn't have done that.
Yes.
1971,
right.
Shimla agreement. There were about 93,000 prisoners of war in India, Pakistan army, who surrendered in Bangladesh. Niazi's surrender, the biggest surrender in history by any army of the numbers. These 93 prisoners of wars were in India. And Bhutto comes to Shimla, tells Indira Gandhi, Madam, I am in your hands. Save me. And what India does? India could have again bargained.
Yeah.
We would release these 95,000. You give us back the Pak-occupied Kashmir.
Yes.
India didn't bargain.
Now, I want to really look at this question because you see, all right, listen to the way the BBC talks about the partition of Kashmir, about the separation of Kashmir, not of India, of Kashmir. So they said, so after 1947, when the subcontinent was divided up at the end of British rule, India and Pakistan subsequently went to war over Kashmir, and each came to control different parts of the territory with a ceasefire line agreed. That is totally wrong. They are acting as though both India and Pakistan invaded independent Kashmir, and one side took one part and the other side took another part. The New York Times too, saying the same thing. Let's see what the New York Times said. So that after partition, the status of Jammu and Kashmir was left undecided, and it was a Muslim majority state in the Himalayas that had been ruled by a local prince. They didn't say Hindu prince, they just said local prince. Fighting quickly broke out, and both countries eventually sent in troops, with Pakistan occupying about 1/3 of the state and India 2/3. So the way the Western press is giving the narrative from the beginning is that Jammu and Kashmir was a Muslim majority state. At independence, it wasn't decided where it would go. And then India and Pakistan went to fight over who controlled it. And this is what most people in the world think happened. And that is why, and then, so it's confusing to me as an outsider here, that India seems to recognize the legitimacy of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. That because they could have taken it back. And didn't India in the 90s under the Rao government, didn't the Lok Sabha say, the parliament make a resolution that they would eventually take back Pakistan-occupied Kashmir?
Said it's an integral part of India.
Yes.
The Pak-occupied Kashmir is
right.
Part of India, and we will not hold any compromise on that. And let me ask you two things.
A Congress position.
See, when you said we'll decide it bilaterally, if any problems are there.
Right.
Why this man goes begging to Trump to mediate?
Yes.
You know what we are saying in India? Yes, Trumpji, mediate. He has taken our Kashmir, Pak-occupied Kashmir, mediate and get it back to us.
Yes, yes, that's right.
This is what we are saying. You know.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the army in Pakistan, if India and Pakistan relations are normalized, they will lose their control in Pakistan.
That's right.
Already, if you see the debates, I have been watching some debates in Pakistani parliament.
Right.
What has been going on there? What the kind of economy they are in. Compare their economy to ours. We got independent at the same time. Look at resources, look at literacy rates, look at health rates, look at welfare schemes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I wish the Pakistanis good luck. I wish they have a real democracy in this country.
That's right.
You see, this whole thing which was going on, Western press says talk.
Yeah.
whom should we talk to?
That's right.
We talk to ISIS. We talk to the army. You see, when Pathankot incidents happened, we even allowed the ISI to come and examine for themselves how the Pak-based terrorists attacked the Pathankot airbase.
Yeah.
We allowed that. Our experiences have been, whosoever you talk to there, nothing is going to emerge because the ultimate controlling hand is in the hands of the ISI and army, and
Now,
they are the ones who are training terrorists.
Exactly. Now, what one detail of history I want to get from you again is now when Jammu and Kashmir acceded to India, right? Did Pakistan already occupy a part of it, or that was later?
No, nothing. Nothing. It was only when they sent these Kabilis to occupy and attack.
So it was after.
Yeah, after.
So that means there were attacks occurring, but they didn't gain any territory as yet. Then
that's the time when they acceded to India. The attacks had started taking place. They were moving into even up to Srinagar. They were moving in.
Yeah.
And Jammu Kashmir state forces were fighting them. They were getting defeated, and that's how they asked India to come and help over.
I see. So they didn't actually cede territory as yet, but they were fighting. And then, okay. No, this is important because you see, the way...
There's a very important saying of the Maharaja quoted.
Yes.
When he signed that accession and all those things, and he went to sleep.
Yes.
And he says that if the Indian troops come to our safety, then don't wake me from the sleep. Let me sleep.
Right.
Okay. So I'm relieved.
Yes.
We will be saved. And then he says, if the Indian troops don't come, he tells his ADC, shoot me in the sleep.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And what basis constitutionally they are challenging? Other states also, it was those princely states.
Yes.
And the princes only signed those treaties. Why are the British shouting and British press shouting on this?
Exactly.
You dealt with the princes at that time. There were no democracies and there were no parliaments and no state assemblies in these states.
Yeah.
The paramountcy dealt with them as princely states.
Yeah.
And so that the Indian government dealt with them as princely states and got their access into the Indian Union.
Yeah.
Since it was left open, either union they may join.
Yeah, so all those other princely states run like normal Indian territory. They don't have autonomy. They don't have the...
No, nothing. You see, I'll tell you, there are some special provisions in the tribal areas to protect the tribal culture, the tribal rights. That they are, the money lenders don't go there and disturb them. And that also comes out of the British period experience. That when the Britishers were there, the tribal economies and tribal exploitation, tribal lands, tribal forests and all true because of their policies were being encroached upon.
Wait, that's very interesting what you said. The money lenders are not allowed in the tribal areas?
To save the tribals from the outside money lenders.
Right. Wow.
Their own societies, they have that.
Wow. That's very interesting.
To save them, for their welfare.
Yes,
the provision,
of course.
I tell you one thing, that even 370, in a way, if that had been taken as a welfare measure for the Kashmiris.
Yes.
If these leaders would have cared for their people.
Right.
If they had let their economy grow.
Mm-hmm.
The entire funding of the Kashmir state of salaries is done by the central government.
Right.
They can't generate even fund to give their employees salaries.
Right.
Which is sent by the center.
So it's a dependency.
So what happened is that the three families in Kashmir looted, cheated the people. See, there are 5 students doing PhD under me from Kashmir. I get a first-hand account from them. I have experienced Kashmir in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you a very interesting incident. We had the Public Service Commission interviews. I was called as an expert, and the chairman rang me to say, sir, no one is coming. This is the worst time in Kashmir, but we have heard you will come. I said, no, I will come. I went there. And I interviewed the candidates. And then I will ask them some questions for my personal knowledge of Kashmir, because I have been following Kashmir issues since 1973 when I was a BA minor student. One of the he said, sir, can I ask you a counter question? I said, yes. He said, where do you stay in Delhi? I said, I stay in Asian Games Village. He said, sir, if two terrorists come to your house and put a gun on the head of your children and your wife and ask you to go and plant a bomb in Connaught Place, what will you do? This is how it started in Kashmir.
Yeah.
And the then Indian governments failed to understand this dilemma of the Kashmiri youth and the Kashmiri people.
Right.
I selected that boy. Next year, when I again went for the interviews, this boy was again in the queue. I said, but you were selected, Mushtaq or something was his name. I said, Ahmed, I selected you. How come you have come again to do the interview? And he says, sir, yes, I know you selected me. What they did, I'm a poor boy. I can't bribe. And these people on paper issued my selection letter, never posted it to me, and after a month put it on the file. Okay, we had sent him the offer letter, the boy has not come to join, and the second man on the panel who was there, he paid bribes and he was given the job.
That's right.
And I had to tell the chairman of the Public Service Commission, sir, I am selecting this boy again. And if you don't appoint him and give the job, and if he picks up a gun against you as a terrorist, I will be with him.
Yeah.
And he got, that time they couldn't do it. He sent me some kesar also from there and said, sir, it's because of you I have got the job. Very recently, last year I was in selection committees in Jammu. We interviewed 32 candidates.
Yeah.
Having done their PhDs and national entrance test for teachers and all that. And when we started to decide on the selection, we were to select 5 positions. So I gave them 7 names. Okay, for me as an expert, these 7 are the best.
Yeah.
And that was equal division. There were 2 from Jammu, 1 from Ladakh, 2 from the valley, 1 women, like that kind of thing. They say, the head says, no, I think we should say none found suitable. And we'll hold the interviews again. I said, how come? You have these candidates who have done their PhD, who have qualified the national eligibility test for teachers. They have performed well in the interview. I want to do that. No, we'll hold other interviews, and another expert joins them. I kept my foot down. I said, I won't allow this. And then ultimately, other women, who's a PhD from their university, they are not prepared to give her a job.
Right.
And they agree on 2.
Yeah. But
One from Jammu, one from there, I'm giving you.
Yeah.
The other person from Jammu was selected. They post him at the Leh campus where there is no tourism studies.
Right.
And then what I find out, that some of the relatives of the head of the department were doing their masters in tourism. And they wanted to keep these posts vacant. But till those leaders become eligible to be appointed, we keep these posts vacant.
Right.
I said, this is what you are doing to your own people in Kashmir.
Yes. So I mean, this thing about the corruption, the family rule in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, all being protected by Article 370. I think that is that's something that.
No, because you can't intervene.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't go and apply in the Supreme Court. You can't ask information in the RTI Act. The Vigilance Department of India cannot go there. The CBI of India can't go there.
They can't uphold discrimination laws.
The Income Tax Department can't ask questions there.
So people don't have the ability to appeal for their human rights and civil rights.
See, the thing now is that things are coming out.
Yeah.
And the Kashmiris even knowing that. There was another Kashmiri I met while doing this Mughal Road project. He was some taxi driver or something, and he mentioned to me he has 2 houses. So I said, why don't you put your houses under the homestay program for the tourists? Yeah. You know what his answer? He says, I won't destroy my 18 pairs of sandals.
Yes.
I said, what do you mean? He said, my 18 pairs of sandals will get eroded for so long because I will have to go to these offices and go for these things and pay bribes and all those things. There's one village, I give you a very interesting example because the people should know. At the end of this village, this road where it meets in the valley, there's a village which was made very notorious for having terrorism. So I talked to these village youngsters. They took me home. They treated me with food, with kehwa. And then I asked them a question. I said, please tell me. When I was coming to this village, I was told it's a very notorious village. There are terrorists there and that. What is the truth? And you know, these youngsters started laughing. And what they tell me? Sir, in winters, when the snow is there, our wooden houses get destroyed. So we have to go to the forest department to get more wood to repair our houses. And there you have to pay bribes. You have to wait for 2 years, 3 years. So, sir, what we did when this terrorism was going on, we made a bogey that the terrorists have come in this forest.
Mm-hmm.
So all the forest officers ran away from there.
Yeah.
And sir, we cut the wood, we put them on our houses, repaired our houses, and see here, we have again planted the trees there.
Mm-hmm.
These stories don't come out. The Western press won't look at these stories.
Exactly. Now, I want to address another thing that was part of this that was made a big deal in the Western press, and really, I mean, looking at it from here, you know, it seems heavy-handed, which is that, you know, the former chief ministers of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah and Mehboob Mufti, as well as the People's Conference chairman, Sajjad Lone, I think, they were put under house arrest. You had the sort of a state of emergency called, so schools were closed, communications shut down. So people are saying, well, this is obvious fascism, authoritarianism. These people are detained. They didn't do anything wrong. They charged with no crimes. They're detained just so that this law could be pushed through without any opposition. And this is a clear case of BJP fascism and authoritarianism. Now, I mean, I could understand there's a security argument being made, but it does really look like, you know, they didn't want any, you know, any opposition to this removal to be had, so they came down very heavy-handed. What's your take on that?
You see, let me tell you something. Those who are complaining that they have been put under house arrest and all, my viewpoint is that not just house arrest, they should have been behind bars many years back. And why I'm saying that? When an American or a British or a French allow this, that those people, suppose in America they fly the flag of Russia. Okay, I want Russia to take over America. Will the Americans tolerate that?
Have they openly said they want Pakistan to take over?
Pakistan? All these separatists, Gilani and this Hurriyat and all.
Yeah.
You see the tweets. And that tweet was withdrawn now. Gilani is not just Pakistan. He did a tweet appealing to the entire Muslim world.
Right.
Come and save us.
But what about Omar Abdullah and Mehboob Mufti?
What was their word? When the army is going to catch the terrorists, not the common people, you put 500 people to throw stones at the army, and you are paying money to these stone throwers for doing that.
Yeah.
What is this nonsense?
But what is the position of Abdullah and Mufti?
There was a position, a stand was to be taken. If the government of India decided that we have to do away with 370, so naturally any government will take precautions.
Yeah.
That there should not be mass upsurge by the people, and I never expected that. It is only when they go and instigate and they raise the slogan of religion and all that these things happen.
But the point will be,
tomorrow is Friday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Yes.
And Monday is Eid.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us wait and watch what policy the Indian government takes tomorrow and day after.
Right. Exactly. Because, I mean, people will say that, listen, if they had to, if the Indian government had to put in this crackdown, there's two things. One, it was supposed to be a parliamentary debate and not an executive action. That's one. And so it would...
for deploying forces, parliamentary debate.
No, for removing Article 370. And it
That
hadn't
has been
been
done by
removed as yet.
parliament debate. No, that has been done by parliament debate.
Yeah,
In
no,
both the houses of,
but the troops were brought in first. You understand? So
you see,
that it was like it was a rubber stamp parliamentary debate. It was an executive decision.
Don't forget another aspect.
Yes.
Okay, rushing through this thing, there is another reason also.
Okay.
And I'll take you back to Imran Khan's statement in America. 30 to 40,000 terrorists in Pakistan waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, 15th August is coming.
Yeah.
Every time before 15th August, in India, they try to do the sleeping agents to create terror activities.
Yeah.
They feel that. They're trying to do that. So if Imran Khan says in America that 40,000 terrorists are ready to go to India, won't we send troops?
Yes, of course. Of course.
And mind it, troops for whose safety? The terrorists, why the terrorists are killing Kashmiris?
Yeah.
If they are for Kashmir, how many Kashmiris have been killed by terrorists? The number of Kashmiris killed by terrorists is much more by the number of any innocent population killed by the Indian army or Indian forces. I can challenge you on this time.
I mean,
see, one of the reasons of the Western press towing these lines is that their reporters here and those who feed them information from here in India are those lefty intellectuals, you know.
That's right. That's right.
The garb under which they work. Because for them, Indian state is no. They don't believe in state. They believe in proletarian dictatorship.
That's right.
So they will start keeping out, putting. You know, yesterday was an argument, very interesting given by them. Okay, now that the Indian constitution is there, so all the liberties and human rights and freedoms of Indian constitutions are there. So the troops should be removed from there immediately, and all these liberties should be given over.
Right.
So I leave a free hand for the terrorists. I'll tell you, unless the valley and all Jammu or whatever it is are cleaned from these terrorists and separatists, Indian troops are not going to withdraw from there.
Yeah.
And they should not withdraw from there.
Yes, of course.
Tell me any country, any diplomacy.
That's right.
In such a situation, will not send troops or will withdraw troops. And these Western press people are saying India sent troops in Kashmir. Why were they fighting in Vietnam?
Yes, exactly.
Why did they send troops to Afghanistan? Why did they invaded Iraq?
Yes.
When they do something, they are the big dadas of the world. They can get away with everything.
So,
and if India does something.
But to clarify, I mean, I don't know about Omar Abdullah or Mehboob Mufti too much. Do they espouse separatist ideologies, or is it just anti?
I'll tell you what they do. They play all sides.
Right.
The same Omar Abdullah was a state minister in the BJP cabinet under Vajpayee ji.
Okay.
In the NDA.
Right.
And Mehbooba formed her government as chief minister with BJP support till recently.
Right.
When the assembly was dissolved. Their game is only one. Like many politicians in India, other places also.
Yeah.
They care two hoots for Pakistan, they care two hoots for India, they care two hoots for Kashmiris. These are the feudal families making money, building their empires, doing their power, and to remain in power in Kashmir.
Because these politicians have...
And they keep doing these excuses. When it suited Mehbooba, she was all for BJP praising Modi.
Because I know Omar Abdullah is like the grandson of one of the leaders. So like it's like a generational thing, like the Gandhis.
Do you know, Kirk, how terrorism started in Kashmir?
Tell me.
1987. Elections were held in Kashmir. And that time, the population in Kashmir shouted slogans of CRPF Zindabad, Central Reserve Police Force, which was there during the elections. Why? Because these people will not let the opposition hold their meetings.
Right.
There was some Muslim United Front at that time.
That was 1977, you said?
1987. Okay. And they did the elections. And when the counting was going on, The government was there of this fellow, Farooq Abdullah at that time, Sheikh Abdullah's son, and Omar's father. What they did, they used the state police, threw out the agents of the MUF front from counting, and rigged the entire election.
Right.
This is where terrorism started in Kashmir after.
Right. So the political corruption and of these
corruption
family,
and all by these
family dynasties.
Then Mufti Saeed, Home
Yeah.
Minister of India, the staged kidnapping of his daughter by terrorists,
Right.
so-called kidnapping, and then they released terrorists.
Yeah.
Ghulam Nabi Azad, the Congress leader,
Mm-hmm.
in 1990, how many of his relations who were caught for terrorist activities, they were released.
Right.
Show me a single conviction in Kashmir, or even a FIR registered in Kashmir of the Kashmiri Pandits who were murdered there, raped there, killed there, and thrown out of lands. Did these Kashmir police under these people even allowed them to the police to file an FIR?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk of these things. Today they are crying just on house arrest.
Mm-hmm.
Why were they not crying of Kashmiriyat when lakhs of Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out?
Right.
Where was the Kashmiriyat then? And on the contrary, listen,
Yeah.
in 2013, the Rohingyas from Burma, they are allowed into Kashmir by these governments.
Mm-hmm.
And they are settled in Jammu. I can't settle there. You can't settle there. And you know where they settled? They settled in lands behind the cantonments.
Right.
Of Indian Army, Indian Air Force bases. And when objected to, Mehbooba kept defending them. These so-called Barbadiwala human rights activists in Delhi,
Yes.
they keep supporting them in the human rights. I had to tweet one day for an American. He was using the term illegal migrants.
Right.
I told him, there is nothing like illegal immigrant, illegal. Anyone who enters a country without authorized permission, visa, is an intruder.
Yes.
You have to differentiate between intruder, migrant, and refugee.
Exactly.
The refugee status is given only when one applies that I have faced these things, I want to
Yes.
have a refugee status, and only when the government gives this person a refugee status, then only that comes.
Right.
Please correct terminology in America, what you are using in that. And then
All right.
went on in America, this kind of a thing.
So now
Someone said, but this is how we use. I said, you may use, but this is bad English.
Yeah.
You're not understanding the meaning of these three words of English.
Exactly.
Migrant, refugee,
Exactly.
intruder.
And
Three different words made in English.
they've messed up the whole debate in America too, with all their open borders and all this stuff, and it's they've just messed up the intellectual clarity and all these things. But let's get to we have come to an understanding of the situation in India and the politics surrounding it. So now you see the international community. I'm trying to figure out their arguments and trying to address them, right? So now they're saying this is going to cause international conflict. It's going to cause more conflict. And I'm trying to figure out why. Here's one reason I saw from, I can't remember if this is from the New York Times or the Forward India, right? But they were talking to this one person, Amir, and I don't know where he was, a private banker in Srinagar, right? And he was saying this Article 37 was what was left of us in the last 70 years. Now it's gone. This looks like 1947. It looks like India has sold Kashmir. We are on our way to become like Palestine. India is a populous country, and it won't matter if it settles 1 crore non-residents in the state. This will change the demographic character of the Muslim majority Kashmir, and Kashmir will lose its identity. And then here, what option do they have now than joining Kashmir's struggle for freedom? You understand? So what they're saying, this shouldn't have happened. I feel we have been robbed of our identity. Nobody in Kashmir will accept it. Kashmir is yet to see its worst. So there's this threat of violence. There's this threat of violence that now, because people are coming, so the same thing that they are saying, because in the US they had these shootings in about someone who didn't want immigrants inside there, and they're saying how evil this person is. Now, this person in Kashmir is saying they don't, not even immigrants, they don't want people from other places in India to come into Kashmir.
They love to many Pakistanis and bring them in Kashmir.
That's right.
They love to do that.
And so you have this Kashmiri nationalist movement that's threatening violence. Then you have Pakistan now, who have, you know, downgraded trade ties. They've recalled their ambassador. They are making them. What claim does Pakistan have at all in Kashmir? What legal claim? What is the basis of their legal claim?
There is no legal claim. I explained to you the Pakistan polity. They have to save their own face before their people by showing this Kashmir thing. They will not talk of Kashmir and Pakistan's poverty. They will go with a begging bowl everywhere doing that. They will not talk of what they are doing to the Balochs, what they are doing to the minorities. How much the Western press reports.
Exactly.
What is the condition of minorities in Kashmir, Christians, what they are doing to Christians. Forget Hindus and Buddhists and all. What they're doing here. So when 47 was there, and when the Dalit Hindus wanted to come to India, they were stopped there at gunpoint. Okay, if you leave Pakistan, who will do these scavenging jobs for us?
Yes.
Most of the Hindus in Pakistan were Dalit. And every day abductions take place. Forcible conversions take this place of minor girls. They are raped. They are done this. What is the Western press doing to that? And let me tell you another thing. This gentleman who's talking about Kashmiriyat and all that. Well, hard polity is not done on the social media.
Yeah.
It's not on the social media.
Yeah.
Jayaprakash Narayan, a very great Indian socialist revolutionary leader who led the movement against Indira Gandhi and when emergency was imposed. I was reading his interview to the press on 10th of August 1948. The matter had gone to UN and all the Kashmir. And you know what he said? He said the Kashmir issue will not be settled by the UN Commission. It will be settled by the armies in the battlefield.
Right. Now, what were the UN discussing in 1948? What were they discussing?
They were discussing this, to bring peace between the Indian and Pakistan armies, and to look at the claims of Pakistan, who was arguing that since it's a Muslim state, it should come to us, it can't accede to India.
So in other words, Pakistan just saying is, you know what it's like? It's like in World War II when Hitler went into Poland, went into Czechoslovakia, because there were German-speaking peoples there. And they said that in the old Prussian Empire, they left all these German populations there, and we need to bring them in. And the whole West is against that. But somehow they are for Pakistan, saying there are Muslims there, so we have the right to invade.
See, my question, that's why I'm asking the Western press, is that why were you silent when the Hindu Pandits were thrown out of Kashmir?
Yes.
Who started that?
And
we didn't start that.
Is that from the Indian side or from the Pakistan side where they threw
it? Indian Kashmir I'm talking of.
Right, yeah.
Srinagar I'm talking of.
Yeah.
Where they were raped, murdered, killed.
Yeah.
Many of them went to Jammu. They are still staying in refugee camps over there.
Yeah.
Born over there. You look at the interviews. There are many Indian websites now, interviews of the Kashmiri Pandits on YouTube and all. You can have a look at those interviews, what they have to say.
But in other words, so the Western press is supporting a Muslim expansionism. They're supporting Muslim aggression against another state because there are Muslims in that state. This is what the Western press are doing.
Let me ask you a question. What would the Western press said on what happened in Sri Lanka?
Exactly. I mean, but they were against.
Listen. The actions taken by the Indian government are not even 1% of what Sri Lankan government did after those attacks on churches in Sri Lanka.
That's right. That's right.
They expelled people out.
Mm-hmm.
You heard the doctor case.
Yeah.
This doctor gentleman, whichever Buddhist, Christian, or Hindu lady was coming to him for treatment,
Mm-hmm.
without telling these patients, he was doing that operations on them. Then
Yeah.
they can't bear children.
Yes.
This was another mode of terrorism.
Yeah.
There is academic terrorism. There are sleeping agents. What's going on? Terrorism is no more confined only to guns.
Mm-hmm.
Much more dangerous is the academic terrorism, which is being planted in the universities.
Yeah.
Your Western universities,
Information.
I tell you, your Western universities today,
Yes.
this whole lust for money, 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 money. They are creating chairs there funded by the Wahhabis and funded by Pakistan
Exactly.
to encourage anti-India propaganda.
So many universities in the United States are funded by the Saudi royal family.
Let them face it. They will face the music.
Yeah.
I'm not going to face. And let me tell them one thing very clearly. Whatever they may report, we now care two hoots for them.
Yeah. Exactly.
We are not against Muslims. We are not against any religion.
Yeah.
But any finger which is pointed out at our country, we'll break that finger.
And what I want to ask you, I heard somebody bring this matter into it, and I'm interested in what you think. Recently, when they had some peace talks or whatever talks they had about Afghanistan and the Taliban with Pakistan, China, America, India was excluded, which I thought was a terrible snub. And geopolitically dangerous because India needed to be part of that. It has a vested interest.
Kid, do you know one thing?
Yes.
You know one thing?
Mm-hmm.
Afghanis are Muslims now.
Yes.
Okay. How much India is invested to help them there in Afghanistan?
Exactly. And that's what Pakistan.
That's why so much Afghanistan.
I believe.
In Delhi, Foreign Office, Foreign Registration Office, exclusively for Afghanistan, there is a specific separate count.
Yeah.
Why would India do that? Baloch. Why would India do that?
Mm-hmm.
So this stupidity.
Exactly.
They have coined the terms Hindu terrorism and all these aspects to divert, and the Western press is blind to that. Blind very intentionally, not by accident.
But would you agree that this move in Kashmir done now was partially, I know it's a long-standing policy of the BJP ever since 47 ever since 370 was put in.
They said it in their manifesto that they will do it.
Yes. But do you think that do you think that the exclusion of India from the talks in Afghanistan with the Taliban and Pakistan, do you think that factored in to making sure that this was done now because of the developments in Afghanistan now might be
it is not just Afghanistan, I will say here. It is not just Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Look at the geopolitics of today now.
Yeah.
If America has to wage war in Iran,
yeah,
and you see what is happening.
Yeah.
So America will need Pakistan support.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that because it looks like the Western media is prepping everybody for violence. Like for instance, one of the headlines I saw from Vice, Vice.com said, this is the article title, "What's Article 370 and why its end could mean more violence in Kashmir." So they're psychologically prepping that Pakistan will invade, that Kashmiris will come up, even though all of that is unjustified aggression. But they are legitimizing it by asking questions without condemning it. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what's going on in Hong Kong. Because it is clear that the West are egging on these violent protests in Hong Kong and calling them peaceful protests. Just like they did in Ukraine. They call these peaceful protesters, and they all have machine guns and whatnot. But these are peaceful protesters. And they're causing instability. It sounds like what they're trying to do in Kashmir now is prep everybody to accept Pakistan incursion, a war, an invasion by Pakistan, and Kashmiri insurgency, that they're just prepping everybody to say, well, look, India caused this on itself by removing Article 370. It's just cause and effect. It's just a chain reaction. It seems like it's a instability push.
Kirk, let me tell you something. Forget the 370 and whatever this is. Pakistan has been trying for a long to create insurgency in Kashmir.
Yeah.
Brainwashing, sending terrorists, sending their preachers, all kind of these things. And if that had to happen, that would not have waited for this day of removal of this 370 article.
Right.
It would have happened 3 years back. It would have happened 10 years back. It would have happened when Kargil war was there.
Yeah.
Or it would have happened 40 years back. They are misinformed. The normal Kashmiri people, they want education for their children. They want development for that.
Yeah.
They want to get rid of these doctrines which are being preached. And when they shout of, will the Western press support the flying of ISIS flags in Srinagar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell me one thing, if in America someone flies these ISIS flags, how the American FBI is going to behave?
Yeah.
How the Americans are going to behave on that? Say any European country, if an ISIS black flag comes over there, how will they behave?
Yeah, exactly.
They want Indians us to not act on it.
Exactly.
We should keep on tolerating.
Exactly.
Terrorists enter every day into India. We tolerate them.
Yeah, they threaten.
And look at their inhuman attitude here. Look at their inhuman attitude. 3-4 days back, 7 persons of their intruders were shot at the border. Their border action force or something which they have backed or something, and terrorists. Their bodies are still lying there on the fences. Indian government said, come with a white flag and take back your soldiers. They don't even honor their dead soldiers. That is jihad.
That's right. That's right.
That is jihad. That is jihad. They don't want to do that. So let them try.
Exactly.
Let them try. Why can't I challenge today now? If that has come, I am also a nationalist. Let Imran Khan send all these 30,000-40,000 terrorists, which he's saying are ready to go to India. Please send them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to Balkot. Like Balkot, they will be sent to the Jannat. Let him send them. It's a joke which they have made.
Yes.
And I tell you what the Indian policy is. Let them know this. If someone of us shakes one hand, we will hug the person. But gone are the days if someone slaps on one side and we will offer the other cheek. No, if someone slaps on one cheek, we will bounce the person.
Yeah.
That is the Indian policy today. We are not, time and again our governments have said we are not going to aggressors. We don't want to fight. Stop. Why? What is holding the talks? One condition only we have placed. Throw out terrorists. Arrest terrorists. Stop terror training. Yeah. Stop the terrorist camps. Is it not a justified demand?
Mm-hmm.
To come and talk on a negotiating table? What do you want to talk on negotiating table? When here you sit on the negotiating table and you see there's a very interesting thing. There are elements in Pakistan who want peace.
Yes.
There are elements in Pakistan who want democracy. That's why I said I respect Benazir Bhutto, that knowing fully well that her life will be in danger, she went for restoration of democracy in Pakistan.
Yeah.
She was bombed, killed.
That's right.
What is the Western press to say on that? Mm-hmm. Attitude of Pakistan? And any time, wherever effort has been made between India and Pakistan to talk out the issue by the democratic forces, immediately you will find action by the ISI and the army to destabilize that process.
Absolutely.
We have not fired. We have not done that. Let the Western press look at totality in that. Let the Westerns look at totality in that. Mm-hmm. I challenge through your channel any of these Western persons who are making these claims, come and debate with me.
Yeah.
They won't interview people like me.
No.
They will interview a leftist.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
They will interview an intellectual who wants fellowships in America,
Exactly.
who
Exactly.
wants fellowships in Cambridge,
That
Oxford.
is exactly
They
correct.
will interview those people.
That's right. That's right.
Mental enslavement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of the title of my podcast, Independent Thought and Freedom. But they are mental slaves. You're right. Now, I know both of us are passionate, and you are very passionate about this issue, but I hope we have.
No, I want peace. I'm for all peace. I'm for the progress of Pakistani people.
Exactly.
I want them to develop.
Exactly.
I want them to establish real democracy in there. Come out of this. You see, someone was other day saying army in this. I said, please, make a distinction. In India, army acts on political orders.
Yes.
And in Pakistan, the army orders, governs, and manipulates the politics.
That's right. That's right.
This is the difference between two countries. Let the Western press look at from these countries. I made a statement once. These Western people shout, democracy, democracy. They support monarchies in West Asia.
That's right.
They support military dictatorship in Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
And they say we stand for democratic principles.
Exactly.
What is this damn hypocrisy of the Western press?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, this goes on. These are topics one can keep on discussing for hours and hours on this.
Exactly. But I really hope, I want to thank you for your insights and your really in-depth knowledge. And I really do hope that we've clarified for the international audience in particular some of the issues, because it's just uninformed and misinformation. Two things, both ignorance and purposeful misinformation that the world is giving. One, listen, you can come to your own conclusions, but you must know the facts of the matter first. And I thank you for helping us.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure anytime.
Yes.
Anytime, because there are more developments taking place. Maybe we discussed after a week or 10 days the impact of all this, what has been going on.
Exactly. Because Eid is an important thing coming up, as you mentioned.
See, my complaint with the Western press is only one. Please don't give a one-sided, biased version.
That's right.
If you claim that you believe in democratic values and rights and all these things, then ask the other side also. It's basic ethics of journalism that when you do a story, you take this point of view and you take the other point of view.
That's right.
And then you do a story and pass your judgments.
Yeah.
And when this comes by one side only, then I'm clear that it is nothing but paid journalism.
Absolutely. And the Western press has just fallen down on basic ethics like that.
In India also we have such.
Yes, yes.
In India also we have such.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many such barbadi walas we have in India also. I keep fighting with them on the Twitter. Answer my logic.
Exactly. Well,
when they said that stakeholders, and when I tweeted back, I said, why are the women of Kashmir not stakeholders when they were deprived of their rights?
Exactly.
Silence after that. No answer. One of their political leaders got me off Twitter for 1 week. Because I had questioned.
Yeah.
I said, will you declare what was the property value of your ancestors in 47?
Right.
And how much wealth and value you have today? And he complained to Twitter saying he's personal and this and that. And Twitter asked me to remove that tweet. I said, I won't.
Right.
It's a simple question I'm asking.
Yeah.
What is the problem in that?
That's right. Yeah. I understand. I mean, I've had my YouTube videos banned. I've been banned from Facebook for 30 days. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear another side. They want to.
No. This is paid money economy, and as I said, this century will be known as a century of mental enslavement. Like we had known centuries of colonialism, centuries of imperialism, centuries of slavery, centuries of enlightenment, centuries of Renaissance. This century, people may call, I am a mad person saying that, but remember my words today. This century today will be known as the century of mental enslavement.
Very interesting, fascinating. I understand what you're saying, you know. I never thought of it that way, but you may very
You
well
don't
be
have to
right.
go and win a country.
Mhm.
All you have to enslave is the younger generation's mind of that country.
That is right. That is right. And you're so right. The younger generation is the target. They are the target.
You do that.
Yeah.
You do that.
Well, that's all for independent thought and freedom this week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very
Thank you
much.
very much.
And I'd like to say to our audience to please join us again next week. And in the meanwhile, make sure that you subscribe, leave me a rating, like and share this podcast with your friends. Thanks and bye for now.
Thank you, Kate.